Hope all of you had a great first half of the work week. Forecaster Gabe Curtis of G-Weather reporting on this Wednesday, February 12th. We saw an Arctic front sweep across eastern Oregon and central Oregon for your midweek. Those Wednesday temperatures do really show that pretty well. Most areas east of the Cascades held below freezing for those high temperatures. In fact, a mix of 20s and teens across the Blues. That cold spot, though, only 2 above in Burns, believe it or not, after a frigid 27 below zero into the early morning hours. And although nowhere near as cold west of the Cascades, PDX and areas in the lowlands are feeding off a bit of an east wind that is developing as we speak right now, and that's why those temperatures have been allowed to cool into a mix of 20s and teens for your Wednesday morning, but still rebounding to about 40 or better up and down I-5 and even into the mid to the upper 40s, that warm spot Salem and out towards Astoria. But as we see precipitation coming in overnight and into the day Thursday, as east winds continue to increase, that will continue to drive that temperature down during the day, holding those temperatures, allowing for a widespread winter weather threat, not only across the state of Oregon, but also areas west of the Cascades. Let's go ahead and jump into those weather alerts issued by National Weather Service Portland and Pendleton. Okay, there's a lot to talk about here, but in pink, there's this winter storm warning, I would say, yeah, from about Ridgefield all the way down through the Portland metro area, northern coast range, just a couple miles north of Wilsonville is where that winter storm warning is placed until 10 a.m. on Friday. That same warning is also in effect from about Baker City down to Ontario and throughout Burns. That's where we're expecting to see the most amount of snow, as well as the weather service. And notice an ice storm warning beginning in about Wilsonville down to Salem, Eugene, central, southern coast range. That is because we're going to be seeing less snow in this area and more ice. That ice storm warning ends about 4 a.m. Friday as I'm speaking right now, right around 10 p.m. Wednesday evening. And everything else in blue is just a winter weather advisory, but that does include the coast that extends until about 4 a.m. on Friday, 4 p.m. out towards portions of southwest Washington, 10 p.m. for the heart of central and eastern Oregon, including LeGrand, Madras, actually Mount Hood, Western Gorge, a lot of these locations, but that is only about 10 a.m. for the Dalles as that ends earlier. It extends to about 4 p.m. out towards Hermiston, though. Although central Oregon, actually, now that I think about it, Madras and Benton is included into only extending that until about 4 p.m. on Friday for that winter weather advisory. On top of all that, we also got a high wind warning across the Grand Ronde Valley and Pendleton until about 10 p.m. Thursday, along with a cold weather advisory until 10 p.m. Thursday across the Wallowas. And there's even more weather alerts on this map that aren't even shown because it would just be too crammed to show you everything. But one of those include this extreme cold warning, Western Gorge, that expires at about noon Thursday before that transitions back into a cold weather advisory extending through Friday. And just note that some of these times may be extended. This is just what the Weather Service has put out as of Wednesday evening, but be aware that some of that could be extended, and you can really see that be a possibility as I show you my forecast here. So west of the Cascades, what am I thinking? Well, let's start out towards the coast. For your Thursday morning, most areas I think will be holding near to below freezing. Not all areas, but I think a good portion of the coast will be. Although I don't think a lot of that is in the form of snow. I think that'll be more icy conditions. And it could just be a light glaze, maybe a few hundredths of an inch of ice if you don't get hit that much. But if you are in an area where that precipitation is increasing and staying steady, maybe up to 0.2 of an inch of ice for your Thursday morning. Although it's possible areas that don't see as much ice maybe picks up a dusting, upwards of an inch of snow, but for the heart of the coast, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of any snow for your Thursday, although all that will melt up to about 40 or better for the coast Thursday afternoon. So all that will in fact change over to rain showers and continue to dry out as those temperatures warm up. There could be a light glaze of ice or maybe even a dusting of snow depending on your temperature early Friday morning. Otherwise, 50 or around 50 degrees, I'm honestly thinking, for those afternoon highs. On Fridays, we dry out. Rain returns to the coast over the weekend across the Willamette Valley. I think it's actually a pretty good chance that it will be mostly snow for the Thursday morning commute across the valley. We're talking Wilsonville south all the way to Salem and Eugene. Could pick up a dusting to 3 inches for your morning. Maybe not a lot of ice, but that will quickly change getting into the later evening hours as most of what falls will be ice. And although I'm expecting temperatures to probably get above freezing, I mean, it could be 35, 36, 37, 38 at any given location across the valley, possibly for your Thursday afternoon as you're further away from the east wind. I think as that precipitation moves south to north into the evening, it'll cool temperatures down to about freezing again for not everybody, but a good portion of the Willamette Valley. But at that point, the atmosphere up above is already warmed up. So I think that's going to be mostly ice. That could be 1/10 of an inch to 3/10 of an inch of ice into the later PM hours through about midnight for your 24-hour totals there. But I think we just double that into Friday morning, meaning we're talking 12, 24-hour totals between Thursday and Friday, 24-hour totals will be anywhere between, I think, 2/10 to 6/10 of an inch of ice down the Willamette Valley is likely at this point. So be sure to use caution with that. Although areas that don't see as much ice, again, there's still a potential to see up to an inch of snow across the Willamette Valley, even by Friday morning additionally. But again, I think the heart of the valley won't see widespread snow and will be more ice. Otherwise, that will definitely begin to melt as we get into your Fridays. Those temperatures should be 40 or better. In fact, I got Salem's temperature about 45, and then just rain over the weekend as that moves in later Saturday, avoiding any potential freezing in the morning. The gorge, though, should stay frozen, all throughout Thursday, probably staying in the 20s, 2 to 4 inches of snow. Another trace to 3 by Friday as temperatures start to get above freezing into the afternoon. Although the lower end will be east end of the gorge out towards the Dalles. These higher amounts will stay confined to somewhere between Hood River, Cascade Locks, and Corbett. Otherwise, I'm watching temperatures closely later Saturday evening across the gorge. If it's near freezing, we could see a little bit more snow into the early morning hours of Sunday, although I'm not expecting anything widespread. Your house could maybe see absolutely nothing, and if you get lucky, maybe you get upwards of an inch or 2, but not expecting anything widespread at this moment. Here's a look at your day planner for your Thursday across the Portland, Vancouver metro area. Those east winds will continue to increase overnight. In fact, overnight in morning gusts, I mean, we're talking upwards of 25 to 45 mile an hour east wind gusts, which will help keep those temperatures down, really. So I'm not expecting that temperature to budge much for your morning low of 29 for the heart of the metro area at about 7 a.m., only about 30 by midday. And at that point, we could already have been seeing 1 to 2 inches of snow on the ground, eastern metro area, and maybe even more than that. In fact, west metro area, that could be 2 to 4 inches. Although we'll start to just back off on that very gusty east wind just a little bit into the afternoon and decrease that moisture to where we just have some isolated flurries around. So I have a feeling PDX at least has a chance to hold just above freezing into that high temperature for your afternoon. In fact, definitely the most likely being, definitely out towards the southern metro area, but I think PDX at least has a chance of doing that. But as precipitation moves south to north later evening, I think that will hold the temperature, bring it down a little bit with that precipitation rate. And although it could start as snow, I think it will continue to be for most areas, east metro. But west metro, I think icier conditions will be more of a threat than snow. Not as much as Wilsonville South all the way to, Salem, Eugene, but I still think if we're going to see additional snow, at least significantly, into Friday morning, it's going to be the East Metro area opposed to the West Metro area. That could be 1 to 2 inches, maybe up to quarter of an inch towards the West Metro area of that ice. And then all that precipitation will end Friday afternoon. I think most areas could even get to 40 on Friday afternoon. In fact, all of you will get well into the 30s and definitely above freezing. And there's your 40 degree possibility for your Friday afternoon. And that will begin to melt Friday, definitely melt over the weekend, as I'm expecting that rain to return later Saturday into Sunday. That could be just a lot of rain. Could be like a half an inch of rain, 3/4 of an inch of rain, as those temperatures warm up to 50 or better for your Sunday, and we'll continue to add a little bit more to that rain total each day into next week, although Tuesday and Thursday could be drier. In fact, those temperatures could all the way be into the mid-50s, believe it or not, and just beyond the 7-day forecast. We're talking the following week. I won't be surprised if the Portland area and areas west of the Cascades could see 60-degree temperatures. That is a possibility as we progress into that following week. Okay, east of the Cascades, let's get you going. So I think the Columbia Basin will only see about a dusting to an inch the second half of the day for your Thursday. A little bit more into Friday, 1 to 3 inches widespread. It'll be hit or miss into later Saturday, where some of you pick up nothing and others pick up upwards of 2 inches. That includes into early Sunday morning. Those temperatures, these low temperatures are actually occurring. Some of these are basically occurring as I'm speaking or have just occurred, and we are now slowly warming up. But 0 degrees give or take across the high desert, at least soon that's possible. Single digits, I got about 5 across areas of the Columbia Basin, including Pendleton, the Blue Mountains, those higher elevations. We've already seen some of those negative digits, and now we are starting to warm up. But that was definitely what happened recently, and that could continue at least over the next couple hours before those temperatures warm up between about 25 to 30 across the area for your Thursday. Friday, I'm expecting more snow, in fact, across the Blue Mountains, after 2 to 4 inches in the afternoon. For the Blues, for your Thursday, we could see another 3 to 6 for your Friday, and 2 to 4 inches again, additionally, late Saturday into early Sunday. So those temperatures get above freezing for most locations, all locations into the weekend, and there are still chances to see those temperatures drop back into the teens as we get throughout the next couple of days. Otherwise, those highs will be well above freezing across the area. And the high desert won't see much snow past Thursday, but could still see a little bit heading into Friday and Saturday for scattered locations. Okay, across Union County, the Grand Ronde Valley, here's a look at your day planner for Thursday. Again, this is kind of where we just were, and now we are warming up, give or take 0 degrees. We saw across the Grand Ronde Valley, but that south wind is really kicking in. So that's why we had just seen this low temperature occur, and we'll see rapid warming into the overnight hours as that south wind has a tendency to really warm things up. We could be all the way to 20 degrees, in fact, by late morning, and that's when I'm expecting those snow showers. There'll be light scattered snow showers moving in, and that with that gusty wind, that's going to be blowing snow. Not a lot of snow, but whatever's there will be blowing. I mean, those gusts could be anywhere from about 35 miles per hour upwards of 55 miles per hour, especially towards those canyons and areas closer to Union. Only expecting about a trace to an inch of snow during the afternoon hours and late morning hours. Will dry out more in maybe a little bit calmer winds compared to what we're seeing earlier today into the evening, but more moisture moves in later evening, and there's your temperature of 30 degrees. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. Those temperatures don't budge much overnight. That's why I'm thinking the high temperature with that south wind will literally occur basically at midnight or just before. And yeah, I mean, not much cooler overnight. upper 30s both Friday and Saturday for those afternoon highs. Additionally, on top of that, we'll see 1 to 3 inches more of snow, I'm thinking, during the morning hours across the Grand Ronde Valley, and just some scattered flurries that could drop, just a little bit maybe additionally into the afternoon. Mostly dry Saturday other than just a scattered flurry. Really the next system would be late Saturday into early Sunday. That could be another 1 to 3 inches across the Grand Ronde Valley. And other than that, that would transition into a mix of scattered rain, snow, and graupel showers in the air during the day Sunday and Monday. So not really expecting much, if any, accumulation. But there is potential for at least some scattered dustings pretty much every morning or evening if you have precipitation to follow throughout really the next week, although slightly better chance somewhere between midweek, I think. Precipitation is a little unclear right now, but it's possible we see more precipitation moving in by that point. In fact, those temperatures will warm still into the 40s during the day, but get down to near to below freezing at night. In fact, warmest should be Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe even as warm as the mid-40s, as that's when I'm expecting less moisture, more sunshine into the afternoon hours. And just beyond this forecast into the following week, 50-degree temperatures are possible. And that is your forecast.